This is Jarrod Horak. Welcome to my latest horse racing handicapping video. I'm going to cover the Grade 3 Indiana Derby in this video, and that race will be run at Horseshoe Indianapolis Saturday, July 8th. Right now I'm on a full card break, but if you're interested in my full card analysis, you will find every day that Del Mar runs this summer, the Del Mar Summer Meet beginning on July 21st. And I'm going to cover every day at Del Mar this summer. And if you're interested in those full cards, you can go over to the runawayhorse.com on my sales page for more details. And if you're interested in reading handicapping articles, you can go over to todaysracingdigest.com. I write many handicapping articles over there. I've been covering stuff early, a preview of the Saratoga Summer Meet. So you can go over there and read those articles if you're interested. And then also if you're interested in bonus free selections at horseracingnation.com. On the front page in the handicapping section, I've had a daily best bets blog for many years. You can find that each day at that website. And then at the runawayhorse.com, I offer free stake selections on weekends and on my free picks page at that website. And in the description in this video, I'll provide links to all of those websites. And now we're going to get into the analysis of this Indiana Derby, and it's going to be the 12th race, Grade 3 $300,000 Indiana Derby. For 3-year-olds traveling 1 mile and a 16th on the main track. Scheduled post time 6:40 p.m. Eastern. Transect is number 1. 15-1 morning line for this son of gun runner. Paulo Lobo is the trainer, and he's probably going to try to go to the front in this spot from the inside post. He's 3 for 4 lifetime, and in his last 2 victories, he went wire to wire. Optional Claiming Company's second time out at 6.5 furlongs after rallying for the win in his debut. And both of his first 2 starts were on all-weather ground at that 6.5 furlong distance earlier this year at Turfway Park. And second time out in February, he wired the field. They tried him in the Gotham Stakes, so he was no threat that day. He lost Lasix that day. And then in his next start, he went back on Lasix and he added blinkers. That was on May 22nd. And it was a local 1-mile race against Optional Claiming Company. And he just got out there and he set the pace. He was challenged in the middle. He turned away the challenge and he won by 1.5 lengths. So now he loses Lasix in here. They paid $300,000 for this one. And I would just expect from the inside post, based on the fact that he was able to go wire to wire twice, they're going to probably have to try to go towards the lead in this spot. Cain is number 2 for trainer Ben Colebrook. This son of violence has run 9 times and he has 2 victories. His biggest claim to fame was the Grade 3 Gotham Stakes. That was in the mud in March at Aqueduct. At 1 turn mile, he had post 11 in that 14-horse field, and he was able to rally from 11th place, and he won by more than 7 lengths. So he dominated that race, but he's never really been able to run back to that. His next start was the Grade 1 Bluegrass. He had post 10, didn't get a lot of pace help. He ended up finishing 5th of 11. He was wide that day. Kentucky Derby, he was in post 13. He ran okay. He was 8th, beaten 10 lengths in an 18-horse field. And then in the Grade 3 Matt Winn last time in the slop, he set a good tactical trip. He just couldn't keep up with the top finishers. He ended up finishing 4th, beaten 7 lengths. He was losing ground in the stretch. Now, Disarm won that one by 1/2. He was 4th in the Kentucky Derby. Verifying was clearly second best, and Verifying is the favorite in this race. So Cain's definitely going to have to raise his game because he's faced Verifying in the Bluegrass and the Matt Winn. Wasn't really a threat against that one. And I would expect that Verifying's going to run a quality race in here. And number 3 in here is Act a Fool. He's 6-1 morning line for trainer Larry Ravelli, and he's won his last 4 starts. He was up the track. He ran last in his all-weather route debut at Turfway. Since then, nothing but victories. 1 mile and 70 yards at Hawthorne. In March, April, and June, he was able to win all of those races, and he was close to the pace in his maiden win, and then back-to-back front-running victories on April 9th and June 4th. And then June 25th, they moved him over to the turf course for the Hawthorne Derby, and he got out there and he controlled the pace and he won easily. So he's really won easily in his last 4, but now he's going to move back to the dirt. He meets some other speed. He's going to step up and face better horses, and he's going to have to run faster. On the Stage is next for trainer Steve Asmussen. This is a son of Quality Road, and he seems to be getting better. He lost his first 3 career starts, but then his last 2 starts at Lone Star, after losing those first 3 at Oaklawn, his last 2 starts were excellent. He went last to first both times. He broke his maiden at 1 mile, and he was 60 cents on the dollar. Just got there in time on May 27th, and then June 17th. Again, last to first. Didn't get a lot of pace help, but he won that one easily. He won by more than 6 lengths, and his speed rating jumped up that day. So he's one that he's going to need pace help in here, but he is on the improve, and he didn't get any pace help in his last 2, but he closed anyway, and he should get some pace help in this spot. I think he's an exotics threat in here. Verifying, your 8-5 morning line favorite is the one to beat. This is a $775,000 son of Justify, and for trainer Brad Cox, Marcelino Pedroza Jr. is going to ride, and he has good stats with this barn. I think it's 7 for 12 recently for this jockey trainer team. So I think that this horse is probably going to end up tracking the pace. Now, he's run 8 times. His career debut, he wired the field at Saratoga in a dirt sprint last summer. He jumped into the Grade 1 Champagne Stakes. He stalked, he led. He was second best behind Blazing Sevens. That was in the slop. His career debut was on a fast track. And then in his next start, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, 6th, beaten 12 lengths in a 10-horse field. His first start this year, optional claiming race at 1 mile. Pressed from second, took over, and he won easily. The only time he's ever had Lasix. The Grade 2 Rebel Stakes, he had the inside post. He caught a wet track. He ended up finishing 4th. He was in traffic. He did not have a comfortable trip from the rail that day. Not a bad effort. And then his next start, the Grade 1 Bluegrass, chased from second. He led briefly. Tapit Trice came after him. It was just a battle between those two down the stretch, and Tapit Trice had more stamina, and he was able to outfinish Verifying and finish first by a neck. And Verifying was more than 5 lengths clear of the show finisher Blazing Sevens. And Blazing Sevens parlayed that show finish into almost a victory in the Preakness Stakes. He finished a close second in the Preakness in his next start. Verifying in his next start was the Kentucky Derby, and he got cooked on the in a wicked pace duel there with Kingsbarns. He had post 2 and 8 of 18 that day. They hustled him out of there from that inner post. Kingsbarns came right after him. Those two hooked up. They were both finished. Anyone near the lead was finished, except for 2 fills. He was able to be the horse that was close to the leaders, and he was able to run a good race, finishing second. But Mage and Angel of Empire, your first and third place finishers, rallied from well off the pace there. And then Verifying bounced back in the Matt win last time, 1 mile and an 1/8 in the slop. In that race, he chased from second. He took the lead. And then Disarm, who was 4th in the Kentucky Derby, was able to run him down and get the victory by a half length, and Verifying was clearly second best. So now he's going to cut back from 1 mile and an 1/8 to 1 mile and a 16th. I think that's probably a good thing for this one. Looks like a miler. He's got good tactical speed. He's got the class. He's fast enough to win this. A lot of positives here as the favorite. Stayinyourlane is a maiden. He's 0 for 4, and he's just not fast enough to win a race like this. So just looking at his form, he's probably not going to be a threat in here. He just doesn't have the speed ratings, and he's still a maiden as well. Number 7, Hayes Strike. He has improved in his last few starts. He won the Private Term Stakes at Laurel Park in March, rallying from 4th place in an 8-horse field. And then in his next start, the Bluegrass, he was no threat, finishing 7th. His next start was the Texas Derby. He won that one by a nose. The Ohio Derby last time, he rallied from last place to finish 3rd. He was beaten 12 lengths, but he was well clear of the rest. 2 fills won that one. He subsequently retired with an injury. Bishop's Bay, your Peter Pan runner-up, was the runner-up in this spot as well. So Hayes Strike can get involved from off the pace. Cagliostro, he's run 5 times, and when he had Lasix 3 times, he ran well. His second time out maiden win, he had Lasix, and he stretched out, and he won nicely from off the pace. Optional Claiming Company, first start against winners. He was second by a neck. And then last time he returned in an optional claiming race with Lasix, and he rallied to miss by a neck, a 1-turn mile at Churchill on June 3rd. His 2 starts without Lasix, he was 6th in his career debut at Saratoga, and the Louisiana Derby was his other start without Lasix. He's had a good forwardly placed trip. Forwardly placed horses dominated that race. Kingsbarns, Disarmed, and Jace's Road. Cagliostro was 8th, beaten 11. He couldn't keep up. So without Lasix, he's 0 for 2, and he didn't run well. With Lasix, excellent in 3 starts. He doesn't have Lasix here. They paid $385,000 for this one. He did earn a good speed rating last time, but he's going to have to up his game a bit. Georgie W. He's 12 to 1 morning line. He rounds out the field. He's 2 for 2 lifetime. He won a turf route in his debut, chasing from second, and he won that one by a neck. A race originally scheduled for the turf and moved to the main track last time out. He dominated by 9 lengths, but it was only 3 other horses in that race, and they only paid $17,000 for this one. He's really stepping up and meeting much better horses. So I think looking at this race, it definitely goes through Verifying, and he is the horse to beat, and I am going to pick him on top in here. I just see there's not a lot of chinks in his armor. It looks like he's one that should sit a good tactical trip, good jockey trainer team. Marcelino Pedroza and Brad Cox, 7 for 12 together recently. He's got the best speed ratings from the Bluegrass or the Matt Winn. Either of those two speed ratings would be enough to beat this field. I think he just gets first run. I just think he's going to sit there. There's going to be a couple horses going out. He's going to sit a good tactical trip like he did in the Bluegrass, like he did in the Matt Winn. He's going to have the lead, and I think this time he's going to be able to win because both of those races were at a mile and an eighth. This one's at a mile and a 16th. Shorter distance, I think, definitely helps his cause. So Verifying will be my top choice in the Indiana Derby. And if we can get 8-5, make a win wager. If he goes off 4-5, I'm not interested in that win wager, but mostly a trifecta key here. And I'm going to key Verifying on top of the 4 Onthestage. And I'll also use the 7 Hayes Strike and the 8 Cagliostro. So that trifecta key is 5 over the 4, 7, 8. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this horse racing content. And stay tuned to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing videos all summer long, Saratoga, Del Mar, some videos for today's Racing Digest, some videos for my website, The Runaway Horse. So keep checking it out. Lots of action coming up on my YouTube channel. And until I see you next time, good luck at the races.